Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to MTG Arena. Today is Monday, October 28th. We did the ranked draft, so we are now going to get bronze tier level 4 reward, which is one more pack. So I guess that was probably worth it. That season ends in 2 days. We'll see what the next season looks like, because probably in the next season it would make a lot more sense to push forward and try and play the ranked draft a couple times. Otherwise, we are just needing to play black spells and get victories, I guess. Where we are is we're testing out this new deck we built in standard rank, where we know people will really try, and that is that. We have a lot of games that came out on Steam to cover, and then unless this drags on forever, we will be done with the stream after this recording. So here we have a game on Steam that's in Asian characters and English is not supported. It's some free-to-play RPG, probably from a cell phone from the looks of it. Chinese only, so not really a lot you can say here other than even as a cell phone port, it looks visually attractive enough, but that's about all you can say. What I'm probably running into worse than anything else right now is maybe not quite enough mana. Might be where this boils down to, and then some of this land gives me a health upgrade, which would be helpful if we had that later, if we had the aerial acrobat, which really that we probably should need more of those. Let's see. Attack. No. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Tanks on the Eastern Front, which doesn't look like it's much of anything, it's just kind of a low polygon tank game. It's coming soon. I had to look through the list of games through Steam's Direct listings, which includes games coming soon, which changes the system. We're not ready for that. We are ready, I think, for that though. Let's get rid of that. So that's probably one of the best cards for a black deck, or a vampire deck, right now at least. Seems like that's the case. And you can see they made a special effort to return that to the field. Well, we'll go ahead and attack with the Death Touch and see if he lets me hit him with that. Yeah, it's still a little hard to get mana sometimes.
I seek a path. My pride grows stronger.
Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam here called Dreadborn Drifters. It looks like it's just a pixel graphics Terraria clone. It looks like maybe a side-scrolling platforming. Yeah, I don't see anything interesting here. $9, $6.99 English full audio, 41 achievements. There kind of isn't anything wrong with this. It's just got that pixel art graphics combined with really distracting animations on top of it, so you just have a mess of an appearance. Nothing looks the way you would want it to look. Black. Okay. Attack. Attack with Death Touch. Both of those are gonna attack with Death Touch? Okay. What did
I fought my hardest.
Does Death Touch really affect the Planeswalker? I don't think it does. Let's see. There's a lot of clicking going on. I was looking at someone who actually does have beta access to the League of Legends card game, and those cards definitely look weird, and they have a kind of way in which they are upgrading things. They upgrade things in such a way that the cards themselves upgrade themselves. I'm gonna go ahead and attack here, and I'm gonna attack here. I'm gonna see what happens.
Do not provoke me.
So Death Touch doesn't work on Planeswalkers. Good to know. Learning something every game.
Time for a drink.
So 46 health. Kinda got nothing. I like this strategy. I need to figure out how to play this. Like this white strategy to get just a ton of health and a ton of buffering. And apparently also tilt all my cards. Well, that was an example of me being straight up outplayed. And that's what I kind of had heard too, is that once you get to a certain rank in standard rank, you start playing with people that actually know how to play Magic and have been playing it for a very long time and know strategy. Whereas that kind of was never the case in Hearthstone. Like, if you were playing rank 20, you'd often get your butt handed to you. If you were playing rank 10 or 12, however high I got, there was still people that felt like they were incompetent and didn't know what they were doing half the time. So play this. This. So that's a flying. This will put things in play as a hand destruction card. Well, not a hand destruction, but a deck destruction card. But while a black deck would synergize somewhat with the graveyard, my strategy really isn't at that point yet.
Perhaps a pair of stilts?
Let's see. Play that. Sure.
I'm astonished that succeeded. We're studying contrasts. I'm excellent, and you're, well, not.
What is this guy gonna do? Let's see. So if I play a black next turn, it will return a creature from the graveyard, so nice.
I was incorrect. Go ahead and gloat.
I think we've got something here, as long as we can play it. Alright, let's see. That back on the field. And then all attack. So this is gonna just constantly put things in the graveyard, but then this ability should allow me to pull things out of the graveyard. Alright. So let's see how this works. Target creature 2/1 under my control. Is there anything I want to keep alive? So yeah, the strategy seems like it's working. What is this ability? Turn target non-land permanent. And then this will bring a bunch more out of the field. Okay. Let's see. This, and this. I don't want to attack with that one, because that one can do 2 damage. Next we have a game on Steam here called Crystal Core, which looks like a low polygon, nothing of a game. 40% off for $2.99, English and Chinese. Yeah, looks like a low effort Chinese game. Let's see. Destroy target creature. Or I could have also used this ability. This, and this. So he's got no way of winning next turn. Assuming I can activate this ability. Which apparently I can't. Let's see, add mana of any color. Oh, whatever. We'll do this. And then
I know more than you could learn.
Destroy
in a
that.
1,000 lifetime. I bathe in ghost fire.
And then all attack. That worked pretty good. I'd like to make it the gold tier 3, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. And we've got a new mastery orb, which means we can start on tier 3, I suppose. I am still a little concerned about the maybe not getting all the mastery orbs, maybe not getting the mastery, the Eldraine mastery done. I mean, I'm at 35 right now, and I kind of have to wonder. I want to come over here and edit this deck. And then how do we change deck layout? Adjust options, learn more. Here we go. You just click here, don't we? So we had just purchased this card back, and we have these others anyways. Like if they had any choice whatsoever in it, they would change the card backs to this if they could, but they stuck with the original. And there's nothing really wrong with the original. So yeah, that's all I wanted to do was change the card back. So here we go, and another rank play. Meanwhile, we have a game on Steam called Space, which looks like total garbage. Black and white. $1.19, English only, no achievements. Yeah, no reason to spend any more breath on that game. This would... Right. This is what we want to play. We want to have this on the field before we play these two lands, which is crazy and going to be very difficult to see that through, because it means we would have to have a swamp drawn in the first turn also, and another swamp drawn in the second turn, and at that, and then a third swamp in the third turn, and the odds are just not high that's gonna happen, but whatever. This still should work. You want kind of this on your first hand. Whereas I don't really need murder. Right. So play that and do that first. Next we have a game on Steam called Kira's Contract. It's tagged as an RPG maker, but if that is true, it's the new RPG maker MX. And yeah, looks like a JRPG. I would argue possibly a little bit better visually polished than a lot of them. $3.74 tells you it's not that long or that good of an RPG. although they are trying a lot of animation here. No full audio, which is kind of a problem, and no Japanese or Chinese or any other language, which tells you this was probably not made by somebody who you would just in general suspect is good at making JRPG style games. So yeah, that's not going on the fall list. The JRPG I'd really like to play right now would be Atelier. Seems like this newest Atelier game is a good starting point for a JRPG series that has like 20 other games that I have never heard of. So it's probably a really good introduction to the West. Level by Level Gaming's on the channel.
I've learned a bunch of new burn
He
spells
says,
to try on
hello,
you.
how is the switch from Hearthstone to
Say
Magic the
hi to my
Gathering been
fiery
going?
friends.
It's been going pretty good. There's just a lot of incompetence on my part, just not knowing what cards are. Maybe there's a few more key phrases I still haven't learned. Trying to figure out how the rank season works and the new brawl system. I switched at a pretty good time. It would have been smarter had I just been playing from the beta, obviously, but I'm really not in a bad position because this Throne of Eldraine expansion just seems to have started, and so I'm mostly trying to get Throne of Eldraine cards, and I just earlier in the stream played a standard draft, which I think handed me a bunch of Throne of Eldraine cards also. I'm playing the first deck that wasn't the default deck handed to me and trying it out. It probably needs some adjustments still, and I'm still very short on cards. There's a weird thing about Hearthstone in particular, though, where even when I had a lot of cards on my, even though I had a lot of cards on my main account, I really never had enough, not even to get high in ranked, where I feel like I'm a lot higher in ranked play right now. My fear of Magic the Gathering games being longer is pretty confirmed. It can be longer. There are some interface problems here. There's no friends list, which is an issue, to say the least. But I think as long as Wizards of the Coast actually tries and keeps trying to improve on Magic Arena and go forward. The one thing Magic Arena is not really doing right now is thinking about bringing older cards from older sets in. So it's kind of like this clear starting point. If you want to play the older cards, you play Magic Online, which is the terrible interface online game, website game basically, which is what people have been playing. If you want to play something that looks and feels a lot more animated, you play Arena. And the only thing I'd really complain about is that Magic Gathering has always been insane about the prices, so I'm hoping Arena doesn't make this game a kind of pay-to-win experience. Let's see. Which one is over these taking a kill? That one.
Come on, then.
So yeah, I'm hoping I don't end up spending a lot of money on this game. I don't want to spend really any more money on the game. I did buy the introductory set, which gave me a bit of a boost, and that was probably the right move. But I also would like to see Wizards of the Coast at some point say, yes, we will bring back the old cards and program them in, even if they just do it on the slightly cheap and don't bother to really animate anything or voice anything that's older. It wouldn't be too hard to to just take the scans, which you already have, you know they have those, and introduce that. They introduced this new play style for Magic Online called Pioneer that brings back a lot of the older cards, and they said directly that they have no intention of bringing it to Arena. I think that's a mistake. I think they should be bringing it to Arena, even if it's gonna be a long time from now.
Hey, I'm meditating here.
But yeah, it's going fine. It's working out. Level by level gaming asks, could playing this teach me to play the real game?
We can do this
Maybe.
together.
I mean, yes, definitely. But here's my word of warning on that. Don't play Magic the real game. Like, the thing about Magic is the cards are insanely expensive. You're gonna spend between $50 to $300 to get a top tier deck. You're going to be opening packs like crazy. It's very gambly. It always has been. It's always been full of a lot of people that are willing to rip other people off, particularly kids that get into it, and younger players. There are good Magic players out there, certainly, like hashtag not all Magic players, but there are also people out there that are going to sell you counterfeits. If you are going to play Magic in the real world, go on shady eBay links and get counterfeit cards. That's the only way I could see that it even slightly being reasonable financially. Unlike Hearthstone, where the cards came easy and relatively cheap and there was a real way to play free to play here, if you get into real world Magic, and I haven't seen Arena be as great. Arena seems like it's actually doable, mostly free to play. You're getting packs
I've always wanted to make a really
pretty
big
regularly.
fireball.
Like, you can get a pack every day in Arena just for getting 4 victories of casual play equivalent. In the real world Magic, you're never going to get a free pack. Never. Maybe the card, whatever comic book store or game store you go to play with other people might throw you a bone here and there and give you a free pack. But for the most part, you're never going to get a free pack at all. So you're going to be paying $3, $5, $6. I don't even know how much most of the packs cost in Magic the Gathering, but it's really insanely expensive. And you're going to get your butt handed to you by the people who have been playing it for 30 years. When I was playing during Ice Age, which was like 30 years ago, and Ice Age was like the 3rd expansion in Magic, there were people that had all the cards and were beating me like crazy and ripping me off. It really wasn't
Mother Ludi gave us homework.
a great experience. And frankly, like,
Here's how it's
unless
done.
you can get counterfeit cards, unless you can get cards for free, it's not realistic. You're gonna have to buy sleeves for all the cards if they're of
It's
any
not
value.
too hot for ya.
You're gonna have to buy a binder to hold all the cards you want to keep. It's becomes your whole life. It's not for people who want to experience anything else as far as entertainment, really. And that's kind of why I feel like even now I don't think Magic players play too many video games, and certainly could explain why there was such a delay for them to create a good looking version of Magic online, like, because they should have had Magic Arena, Magic the Gathering Arena, out years before Hearthstone happened.
Let's make some more room to fight in.
And it just didn't happen. So yeah, that's my experience. So maybe you'll have a different experience, but I cannot recommend
These little guys
anybody
are
play
great.
the real world card game. I say stick to Arena,
Can't stand it.
keep it cheap, keep it easy. What happens even worse than Hearthstone are banned lists, where almost every card gets banned in a very frequent amount of time. So even playing Arena, all these cards that I'm playing right now will probably all be banned in a year's time. And that'll be a major turning point to see, well, do I have enough gold or other ways to get the new cards from the new expansion, or am I going to have to start over from the beginning, which would be kind of very demoralizing.
These little guys are
There are
great.
some core sets, and the core 2020 set is
Are you
out right
watching
now
closely?
already. So I guess the assumption is that core sets maybe are a little bit cheaper and a little bit more playable. And certainly I'm not an expert on Magic playing in the real world. I could be totally wrong about what I'm saying. But my perception is that it's probably still not a good thing. One thing you would want to do if you're going to play real world is get very friendly with everybody that does play at a local comic book shop, card game shop, and I'm going to just switch over to standard play instead of ranked play in the hopes of getting more victories. Be very friendly, show up on draft days, because there's this thing called draft trash where people will basically throw away or give away cards that they get in drafts, and it's a kind of take a penny give a penny system that can help new players join, but you have to certainly ask people if this pile of cards on the far edge of the table are draft trash. You kind of have to go through it and look for what you're really looking for. The good news is lands. You probably could get lands from anybody really cheap or free, because nobody cares about lands and there's way too many of those. But when you start talking any other card of any use whatsoever, people are going to be less likely to put those, give those away for free. So my estimate here is, if you were going to get into Magic in the real world, you probably need 3 to 4 really good friends, best friends that play Magic already and are trying to get you into it, who will treat you kindly. Otherwise you're going to burn out playing with a bunch of weirdos, for lack of a better term. You probably need to buy the core starter set. There's some sets that also are, there's some sets that are pre-built decks. I don't think they're particularly good deals. Some of them might be if you get them on sale, but a lot of the pre-built decks aren't great deals, even for a new person. Then the core 2020 set probably would do you better. But also, you're probably better just buying the most recent expansion cards and boosters. And your first experience in playing Magic Arena, if you can't get a bunch of counterfeit cards, which I still think is probably your best bet, would be to have to spend at least $100 on just an entire box of the latest expansion cards, and just opening them all and then looking at all those cards and trying to read and learn what each of those cards do. And that's where Magic the Gathering Arena can help you, is that you can at least know what cards are what and what they do, by putting in 6 months to a year's worth of investment playing digitally, even if you're not spending any money digital, on Arena. If you just free to play for 6 months, you'll know what the cards do. You'll know the key phrases. You'll know like defender, indestructible creature, hound, minion type. You'll understand the 1 power, 3 toughness. You'll understand the mana cost and the land system. But yeah, I would, not to repeat myself too much, I'd highly caution anyone from playing or getting into Magic until they've spent at least 6 months free to play on Arena. You'll just have a better experience, or you'll get out with having spent less money. But to answer more directly, yes. Playing a regular game here, and there's a bunch of different game types, but all the game types that show up in Magic Arena are the exact same types that you would have normally when playing Magic in the real world. It's 20 health you start with, it's 60 cards in the deck that you start with. Those rules are all the same, the cards play all the same, so the basics are there. The only thing different is the pet here and the just automatic handling of some of the card modifiers, card tokens, and damage tokens and token creatures. But Magic Arena doesn't even really simplify much at all. Even the conversation you have to have when playing Magic is still pretty convoluted and weird. Where you have to pass and say I pass or I attack, you declare attacks without saying what character you attack or you declare. So let's go ahead and sacrifice this and put this on the field. And then I can put that on the field too. See, Level by Level Gaming says, "Oh wow, I had no idea you knew so much about the real world game." I mean, I honestly don't know anything about it now. I can only really relay what I've picked up from watching other YouTubers talking about the cost of cards and decks. And I remember when I played it a long time ago that it was really expensive. So that was certainly a thing, and it hasn't changed. I think that any person who plays Magic who's honest will tell you that it's super expensive and super greedy. If anything, I think Wizards of the Coast have gotten less greedy once they got acquired by Hasbro and improved some things a little bit, but they're still super greedy. But yes, I've been trying to teach myself this game, and so I've been watching a lot of YouTubers and picking up things, and I did have that, frankly, almost 100% bad experience of playing Magic for a brief time when I was a kid, and yeah, it didn't work well. One of the beauties I think you have in playing Arena is that the rules really can't be disputed. In the old days, when you played Magic, you literally gambled any card from your deck. It was just like the first card in your deck was put to the side as a card that you get that is available to the winner. They got away from that, thank goodness. Certainly, any parents that don't want their kids gambling would have been upset about that, and parents were definitely upset about Magic in the old days. It does still have some pretty mature artwork, and it's still not really the the kind of game you would want kids to play. The Pokemon card game is effectively a simplified version of Magic, so I would much more suggest young kids play the Pokemon card game and then move into Yu-Gi-Oh! And not play Magic until they're 16, 17, or 18. I'm not going to get into anything that's actually pornographic or nude, have nudity in it, but there are some scantily clad images and provocative poses and just like macabre and grotesque and gory imagery. Let's see. Next game we have to talk about, because I want to wrap up after this recording. I don't want to go a fourth recording. We have a game here called History Warriors on Steam. Seems like the connection might be messed up. So it's a fighting game between History's warriors, of which Cleopatra really wasn't a warrior so much, and neither was Abe Lincoln. Although I do believe Abe Lincoln boxed. $13.49 discounted. Whole bunch of languages supported. Yeah, I don't see this. There might have been something to this, but I don't think there's enough here to make me think that I really want to play that. One of the nice things about Arena is if a player stops playing eventually, the game will auto-concede, but it takes so long because of the way these timeouts happen instead of the timers in Hearthstone that it's still in a ridiculous amount of time. It's frustrating. Okay. Attack that one, I guess. What's this? Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Alright. So let's block. Killed my guy. I forgot that could happen. Still have yet to really wrap my head around the blocking system and how it works. Yeah. I would say, if I was going to speculate, if you came into a group of friends who were playing Magic the Gathering, and they were just the greatest group of friends ever, and they gave you a ton of cards, and even like Jarks will probably give you a ton of cards to any new player, but if they give you a ton of cards that are actually good and they're actually patient with you and teaching you how to play and literally playing you and saying, actually you should play this in this order, actually you should do this, if they're actually sacrificing their own entertainment and their own win ratio in their head to teach you things, and you just had this great group of friends, anything would be entertaining and good. Like, and Magic is no exception there. So seek out friends would be my argument in general in life. Seek out people that will play with you, seek out good people, and whatever you're doing together will be fine. The same, I think, is true for like World of Warcraft. In a lot of ways, World of Warcraft, not a particularly great game, but a lot of people had a lot of friends that they were playing World of Warcraft on, and because of that, they had an enjoyable time. Next, we have a game on Steam called Light Hunter's Battalion of Darkness. This looks interesting as far as an art style. What is it, though? Is this some kind of strategy game or a card game. It looks like it's some weird card game that just has way too much text and not enough animation. Like, one of these screenshots looks alright, but then when you see all the screenshots are the same, it tells me visually this is a very boring game. It's coming soon. So, yeah. Wouldn't put it on the follow list anyways because it's coming soon. Which, of course, coming soon means it may never come around. Let's see. I just opened up the wrong... The way I opened up games that were coming soon, I'm getting some that are labeled coming soon, and I don't need to mention those at all, so... Alright. Let's see if this can save the day. Death Touch. Lifelink. And that. And then... no attack. Next we have a game on Steam called Lightning Wings, which seems like it's a first-person shooter robot mech game that is trying to sell itself as an esport. Already free to play from a company I don't recognize. Third-party accounts, iOS and Android app, apparently. Traditional Chinese, so this is some Chinese esport mech game. Alright. I want this ability. And can we do that ability again? You get into this weird situation. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna get over this point where you in the middle of many Magic games just get into this lull and slow down where you have one character that has Death Touch or something, so he doesn't want to attack with any of his characters because he doesn't want any of his characters to die, so he won't attack even though he has several characters available to him until he has a spell or something that can work around that. Whereas in Hearthstone, they really figured that out well. They figured out a nice system where you can, where the characters will just always attack, and there's no reason not to attack. Whereas here, there's always a reason not to attack. Next, we have a game on Steam called The Fragment, which looks like it's a low effort first person shooter suffering from dark screenshot syndrome. Let's see, we'll see if we can jump around the video and see more. It's just like super dark. $4.49, English full audio, a bunch of other language supports. Yep. Yeah, I don't really see anything here polished enough to catch my attention. Gonna block with anything? I actually should have. I would have potentially kept on playing at that point. Although, frankly, sometimes it is just easier to concede. Particularly if I'm just playing play mode instead of ranked play mode. I'm still not really seeing a big difference between the casual mode, the play mode, and standard ranked. It still feels like they are pretty much the same. I think we're gonna have to probably make an effort to just cover the news and leave a lot of these games where they are, because there's just so much. Tech Raptor has an opinion piece: what gaming gets wrong about Lovecraft. I just wanted to mention this quickly because video game creators seem obsessed with H.P. Lovecraftian style stories. I don't know why that is the case. Here's the first author I've ever seen that didn't even bother to put his own photo up. If anything, I would be very happy to see a memoriam on Lovecraftian stories for a year or two until somebody either can say something new or do something new with it, or realize that they just don't need to exist at all. It's the whole Twin Peaks thing all over again. It seems like everybody grew up ingesting the same media to the point where they became obsessed with it and they can't tell any different stories. It's like going into a Christian bookstore, if you've ever been in one of those, where every single book in the store is centered around the Bible and centered around Christianity, so every single book in that store is also going to be very repetitive and not particularly interesting. I don't know what's going on here. Seems like he's not playing, which will give me a free victory. Meanwhile, I'll cover the news. WWE 2K20 PS4 refunds are being issued to unhappy customers. The thing about refunds in particular are, like, yeah, if you ask for a refund, you probably will get one, but then as soon as the news people report that one person somewhere managed to get a refund, it gets reported like, oh, massive amounts of refunds are being handed out and the refunds are being approved automatically. That's very rarely the case. But we have seen it happen in a couple of times. WWE 2K20, it sounds to me to be particularly bad quality, even by WWE game standards. TechRaptor has an article: Modern Warfare launches with only one Spec Ops mission, which, yeah, I don't think there's any reason why I'd ever want to play a Call of Duty game at all, but yeah, they keep getting made, and I guess they will just keep getting made until people are tired of buying them. This guy's not even gonna. So here's a great example. This guy's not even playing, and it takes so long for me to play 2 or 3 turns, and it takes a good 4 minutes before the game itself decides just auto concede on him. So it is nice it does auto concede. They updated these daily quests. That's the only thing I can think, is that either I hit a limit of level here where I started getting XP for daily quests, or they upgraded daily quests to give you mastery XP, because they totally weren't doing that 2 weeks ago. Like, I even looked at my old footage as I was editing it up, and you definitely did not get mastery XP before. So, okay. Like, and here's the 4th win that you really want to do every day. Is just get this 4th win, so you get a card. It's not like a deck. I think it's 1 card, but even 1 card might be very good. It's more than you ever got from Hearthstone. Hearthstone never said, we'll give you 1 card if you make 4 wins. They often made you do 7 wins to get just a pathetic amount of gold that maybe you could then use to purchase a pack, but then you also had to use that gold for purchasing solo adventures. There's no solo adventures in Magic the Gathering Arena after the tutorial section. I think they probably should take the old Planeswalker games, which were completely solo adventures, and make a specific effort to integrate the old Planeswalker games into the arena and just reward the people that bought the Planeswalker games, because those were pretty expensive games too for mostly single player experiences. They should just like grandfather those people in and give them a special card back, or reward a bunch of packs or something. One of the good things about Magic, though, if you do decide to play it in the real world, is that they are putting codes on it. There's a whole bunch of codes online right now that you can get free packs for Arena, but there seems to be like individual codes or something that you get when you buy certain pre-made decks or certain other packs of Magic cards. And so if you're not playing Arena and you're getting those codes, you can give those codes to me or someone else you feel is more worthy, and you can boost your digital card collection by buying the real world stuff. It's probably not the best way to go about doing something like that, or it's probably not a efficient financial way to do things, but it's a cool idea. It's something that Magic can do because there is a real world card game, and Hearthstone couldn't do. There we go. So it feels like a third of the time I am about a third of the time I get quick victories, a third of the time I get defeated, and a third of the time it becomes just a really long game with a 50-50 chance of victories or not, or loss. Gamer Sutra has an article here. Microsoft relaunches Xbox All Access financing program with the next generation upgrade option. Let's see. They've added an option that will let users upgrade to the next Xbox console, codenamed Project Scarlet, after the equivalent of 18 monthly payments. So $30 a month, or $40 a month, or $20 a month. 20 times 18 would be $360, so you'd effectively be paying the full price, I think, but in small installments. It does certainly point towards the idea that consoles have gotten too expensive, though, if we are having to create installment plans for people to own it. Let's see. Komatsu has an article here. Earth Knight for the PS4, Switch, and PC launches December 3rd. No clue what Earth Knight is. Some kind of platformer with a giant flying creatures in the background. I kind of like the fluid animation here, but it also kind of just feels kind of crazy. Like, I'm not sure that there's really a game here. Depends on, I guess, how smooth the animations are and how smooth the gameplay is. Well, that does certainly look different, so I'd like to see some reviews on that. If I come over here and play, not forget what I'm doing. Alright. There's kind of no reason to attack right now. Gamma Sutra has an article here. Death Stranding coming to PC in early summer 2020. PS4 version due out November 8th. There was an update to this that 505 Games is the publisher of that, of the PC version. Which, okay. Let's see. Can't be blocked. All attack now. Next, we have a game on Steam called Centralia Homecoming that's rated positively so far. This looks a little bit like it could be a Russian troll game. Actually, I think I've seen this. Yeah, we already looked at this, and it looks like it might be like a Russian troll asset flip horror game. But I put it on the following list before because it also looked like it might be some quality. So I'm still waiting to see more reviews on it, and we'll see what happens. Next, all attack. No, let's just go ahead and do only one attack. That's all the one that matters. Have any ability? Next, attack with that, and then be done with that. Come on, keep on playing. Gotta auto pass all this. Otherwise it's gonna keep on asking me if I want to sacrifice this guy. As long as I have mana. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Rico's Fragments, which looks like it's a VR horror game that might be actually kind of horrific. Looks like it's slightly visually polished, eh? It's early access and requires VR. It's $9.89, which is a little too cheap for a VR game. And it says it's English full audio, which is weird when you look at what clearly would be a Japanese inspired game, a Japanese centric game. I'll put this on the fall list, but it's questionable certainly to have early access VR games. Steam still seems like it is kind of all over the place. Let's see. Alright, so we play that, and that'll heal, and that'll buff that up. And then this would give me a 4/5. And this will allow that to not be attacked. And so then I can just say attack with everything. So that's some major buffs. Next we have a game on Steam called ISLA Test, have no idea what that is, if that's supposed to be something. Looks like this is just really a bunch of low effort squares. This is a itch.io style game that does not deserve to be on Steam. 59 cents discounted English only, 8 achievements. Yeah. Nothing there of interest. Let's see. Level by Level Gaming said, good watching you. Gotta go. Thanks for watching Level by Level Gaming. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Figure Simulator War, which would be a cool idea to have a game focused around figures and such, but you spin around and show this anime figure of a character I don't recognize, who has a bust size that's way too big, and then it really just seems like this is just a bunch of low effort semi anime looking characters that I don't recognize being thrown into a sandbox player versus player experience. Doesn't seem like there's much else here. It doesn't seem like they have the license for any figures or any characters, which is the one thing you would want for a game like this. This is from a developer called H-Girl, which I assume this is just for the nudity. It's not tagged with having any nudity or sexual contents, but yeah, this is probably a cheap Chinese game, something that you normally would have put in a mobile game, and for some reason they tried to make it a 3D game. It doesn't really work. Running out of time. I didn't attack with that one. I shouldn't have attacked with this one, but whatever. I'll be fine. Like, if he was smart, he would block this with that. But I guess he probably can't. Yeah, I would like to see some kind of app or game around figures, but they'd have to be real figures. Figures in Japan are extremely expensive too. Very much designed for the craziest of crazy OCD collectors. I managed to get a few back in my days when I was super into anime very cheaply, because I was buying them from a store that was apparently getting them and not knowing what they were worth or what they were, so they were selling them like they were action figures, when in all actuality each one that I bought for maybe $10 to $20 was probably something that would have sold for $70 to $100 each. Figures can be extremely expensive. And your mileage will extremely vary whether you want any of them or not. Because they are effectively dolls, effectively action figures, mostly of anime girls, that you can only really put on a shelf full of anime, that at that point you're no longer embarrassed to have random strangers see that you like anime too. So putting a figure is just going deeper down the well. Moving on, we have Little Helper on Steam, which looks like it's tagged as an RPG adventure. To me, it looks like it's a low effort game trying to be a Christmas game, but it doesn't look like there's really anything here. It's super dark. $6.29 English with full audio, allegedly. I don't really believe that. Yep, I don't see anything there polished enough. And this guy just decided to stop playing, so I got the victory because of that. And we have another cosmetic skin and another card pack. And if we get one more victory, we'll get one more card. Like, the idea that I've earned and opened 2 card packs in one day is so antithetical to your experience with Hearthstone. You just never saw that. It never happened. Maybe if you were really, really lucky, you'd get 1 card pack every week to 3 weeks to 4 weeks. It's kind of closer to 4 weeks, I would say. So, yeah. So it's a real nice experience we're having. Start with this, and then that, because it has haste. Next we have a game on Steam called Horoscope Referns, which I don't know if that's even in English. This looks like some kind of planet strategy hex grid game based maybe on some cards. It doesn't look visually polished enough to interest me though. It's 99 cents to play the game. English only, which and single player only, so yeah, not the kind of card game I'd really want to play. And then do this. It's really nice to have this ginger brute on the field because he can just avoid being blocked and fix a lot of problems otherwise. So let's do that. Attack. See, next we have a game on Steam called Last Protection. This is clearly a tower defense game with a Viking theme. Nothing visually interesting there. $1.19 English and Russian. So I'd say that's a low effort Russian game. And put that on the field. Declare blacks to increase that. And then put that on the field. And then activate this ability, and then attack with that one. This guy is slowing me down a little bit. I'm gonna have to get rid of him eventually. +1, +1. Well, let's see. Okay. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Okay. Attack. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's control loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Alright, fair enough. Okay, next, attack with this one. and attack with this one, and attack with this one. That'll be 3 damage to me and then 3 life to him. And then he'll take the option whether he wants to draw a card. That should buff that guy up, yep. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Ooh. That's not good. He's got a strategy here. Alright. What do I have in my deck? Probably not something. Alright. That. And do that. And then next, what do we want to attack with? This one. This one. This one. And attack. Did he get an infinite loop here? No, it's not an infinite loop. Is he really gonna let all of that happen? Interesting. So, yeah. Let's just play this, and I think we've got it.
Every exploit ripples through time. Be mindful. This experience still.
Okay, so I'm now just gonna all attack, and I think I'm gonna win. Yeah, I don't think there's a way he's gonna get around this, although there's a lot of synergy going on here. So this guy might get really buffed up. So if I don't win, then I might lose next turn, almost certainly. So yeah, he blocks that. And he blocks that one. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this. He's gonna try and kill my planeswalker instead of attacking me directly. Okay. Next game we have on Steam is... Oh, we already looked at this one. Last Protection? Nope. Let's move on to the next game. Let's see. Next we have on Steam Rescue for 3D Visual Novel Maker, which clearly is a low effort game. Troll game. Garbage that should not be allowed on Steam. $8.49. Actually, it's DLC content. Yep. Garbage. Alright. What do we want to do? Do this.
Truth lies beyond vision.
And then this. And this. And this. So. Forgot he's gonna get his health back. So the Ginger Brute, frankly, was probably the best card available to me. We'll just block with that. There we go. So, this and this.
Ether itself serves me.
Use this ability. Go ahead and put that on the field too. Tap. So I think I'm gonna win this. Next we have a game on Steam called Lolly or Lowly Tower, which looks like it's just a low effort RPG maker. I don't even see anything that would be either a lollipop or a lolly. A lolly, which would be like Lolita, young, not young underage girls. Chinese only, so this looks to me like a poor choice for a name and a low effort game. Let's see. Already talked about that. Yeah, I think we can just wrap up the news, and I don't want to play anymore on screen. Like, that's the number one problem so far I've been having with MTG Arena is the burnout. The burnout's pretty quick. I don't end up wanting to play 15 games daily, which is the maximum of daily rewards you could be playing. So TechRaptor has an article here. Overwatch rumors talk of a new character, usable items, and a PvE mode. If anybody's playing Activision Blizzard games still, and anyone's still playing Overwatch, that might be of interest to you. Not so much to me. Gamma Sutra has an article. Ubisoft is suing a Rainbow Six Siege cheat provider Mizusoft. This seems to happen pretty often, so no surprise there. see. I'm gonna leave some games for Wednesday and maybe curate the games a little bit better. After Party review from Tech Raptor. After Party is the game where you have to outdrink the devil, and it's some kind of adventure game. They gave it an 8.5. Night School Studio delivers a funny, compelling narrative, a few spills that aren't enough to water down a great experience. You don't have to get cutesy with your summary like that, Tech Raptor. Writing is top shelf funny, solid voice acting from the whole cast. Hell feels alive. The con is the drink system feels underutilized. So seems like there is actually a drink system in it, and it's not just conversation the whole time. Gamatsu has an article here. Netmarble announces Ni no Kuni smartphone game, which, okay, that's interesting. I don't know if I would ever want to play it, though. I do want to play Ni no Kuni 1 now that it's on Steam, and Ni no Kuni 2 since that's on Steam, but it would be a large jump from trying to get to play those two RPGs to jumping all the way to playing a smartphone game. OpenCritic has its reviews for After Party also. They give it 71% of critics recommend. That's kind of low. 79 top critic average. So they say it's a strong game. Okay. Interesting. It's not a terrible game, and that's always the main piece of information you want to get from these kinds of ideas. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article. Starbreeze resumes Payday 2 development. New paid DLC is on the horizon, which is weird because they had kind of given up on it, and apparently they weren't making enough money. They had given up on it, I think, in particular to be a publisher, and then they've kind of failed at being a publisher. So now they're, I think, desperately getting back to making Payday 2. The problem with Payday 2, as I recall, is that it was just full of paid DLC, and so it was kind of greedy and not something that I think I would recommend to anybody. Gamatsu has an article here for PC. Honkai Impact 3rd for PC is playable at the EGX Berlin. I'm fairly certain this is a smartphone game originally, because I've seen a advertisement for Honkai Impact 3rd all over the place, and their advertisements look amazing until they start showing the actual gameplay, and then the gameplay looks super, super boring. It's currently available worldwide for iOS and Android as a free-to-play title. So a PC version would hopefully be a major improvement and a shift away from a free-to-play model, hopefully, but no guarantee. Gamma Sutra has that same article. Ubisoft is suing a Rainbow Six cheat provider, Mizusoft. Really don't have to get any deeper into that, though. And so that leaves me with a decent amount of games to curate, and I can just quickly look at the Humble Bundle store and see if there's any new Humble Bundles. The book bundle for Linux and BSD bookshelf. If you want to learn Linux or BSD, if you're into IT of any sort, that probably is a very good bundle, depending on which books it is. I won't waste time looking. As far as games bundles, though, it's still the Idea Factory bundle for 14 days. Is pretty much all they've got. And then, do I even really need to look at Twitter just to see if there's any new news? Probably not a lot. If there was, and we can talk about it Wednesday just fine, so I'm not even going to bother with that. So that's going to be it for the stream. We figured out some things. We're still learning and going through this pretty well. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, There's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.